Right, Will.
Yes.
Good morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are. We're just going to do a quick promo for the next online conference, which is basically called Kariong's Calling.
It's the update.
It's an update, and what we've actually done is we've included everybody that has a comment to talk about this, and we've included 3 comments that come from the Duncan family. Is that correct, Evan?
Oh, in the article, not
in the
article?
Conference. Yeah, no, in the article we've put up, which precedes the conference, we've covered what the 3 different members of the Duncan family have got to say. One telling us that the glyphs are graffiti, another telling us that the grandmother tree is a tourist trap, and a third member of that group telling us very simply they intend to destroy the site anyway. And it's an open threat. And by the way, you might think that we couldn't possibly be right about that, but unfortunately we are, because we've given you the link to the conversation on the ABC News. Is that correct?
That's in the article.
Yeah.
I've got screenshots of their comments as well.
Yeah.
And so
I've got one from Barry Duncan telling us that the grandmother tree is a fictitious thing used for tourism. We've actually taken the quotes of these people, and we did get an article telling us they're going to destroy the site, and we didn't put it up. And we have sort of apologised for that, and we've actually put up the full article. What we've then done is we've analysed all the different stories about what actually is supposed to be the case and tried to present something that shows you both sides of the stories, but also shows you that one side of this story is not true. I want to make a point too. Then when you look at the article at the front that Evans included, which includes the reasons why, according to one of the Duncans, that this site is not a valid site, every quote and every reference is what the government said. And I find that interesting. We've got references from elders saying what they think. Auntie Colleen, Auntie Bev, and Auntie Tracy. They've all said it's legitimate. Now, what the other group have said is they've said, oh, this academic said this, the government said this, and therefore we're going to take the side of the government and the academics who've told us it's fake, and that is the final word on this. Now, I've got to make a point with this, ladies and gentlemen. If this gets up, I can tell you now, it will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. There will be subdivisions taking place where they are subdividing land that was originally designated as sacred, wasn't it, Evan?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been rezoned so they can now help themselves and do what they want to make as much money as they can out of that land. And that somehow doesn't resonate with me. I'm very sure when the Gough Whitlam came upon the idea of a lands council, it wasn't to develop at your own, just please yourself. They've made it very clear about this land, haven't they? What do they say about the land? It's our land. We'll do what we want, and no one can tell us what to do. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, it is for us to decide what land is being used for.
Just compensation for what happened to Aboriginal people since 1788.
Yeah. So we talk about compensation to begin with, a money term. Then we find out it's for us to decide what that land is being used for. Fascinating. I'm pretty sure that's what Philip said when he turned up here. That worked out well, didn't it? So what they've said is what they did was wrong, but if we do exactly the same thing, it's right. Not so sure about that.
I think wars have kind of gone that.
I think a lot of injustices are based around that, and still happens to this day.
Yeah,
look what someone did to us, then we'll do the same thing, but it's okay because we're in the right. Okay, and it's the same thing again. Now, what we've also done is when we put out our online conference, we've got all of the people who've been actively involved in this. That includes Nina Angelo, Lisa Bellamy, Arnie Colleen Fuller, Vicky Burke, Jay Cassar, and you're going to hear about from all of them. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to leave it up for a week, leave it free for a week. Normally, we put it up for one day, and then we put it back onto our site. And if you remember, you can watch all of the stuff we've done up, and this is number 35, and there's 34 before. So you're free to watch live all of the things we've put up. But we're going to leave it up for a week again, like we did last time, so that people can get other people to watch this and see what's happening. And can I remind you in closing, the government did say amongst all this, oh, we're going to have an inquiry, aren't we, Evan?
Yeah.
We're going to have an inquiry, and we're going to let all of the community and all the public have their say. And they did. They said that you've got to a certain time to put up a submission, which we did, and many others did. And then we were told, and this is where it gets interesting, the day after that it actually closed, they told everybody we had over 3,000 submissions, but we lost most of them. Well, how do you know you had 3,000? How do they know they had 3,000 if they lost it?
It's interesting they had an exact count of how many they lost.
But here's what gets interesting. And then people went to the website to find out if they could put in a submission. No, it was closed. It was closed. It was closed and it was closed. So people started complaining. And then they decided they'd give you another 5 days. Then they extended that, included the weekend, didn't they? Evan, and made it longer. And that was for people whose submission was lost to reapply. And of course, we did reapply, didn't we? And then further on in the piece, we got an acknowledgement of our reapplication. And then further on again, we got acknowledgement of our first application, didn't we, Evan? Came out of the blue, which means that which was lost, 3,000, was then magically found again. Now, I want to close by telling you something. I was told to contact a person by the name of Lisa someone, I forget who it is. No, Nicole. Nicole someone, and go to a particular site and ring, and I did. And Nicole announced on a recorded message, had nothing more to do with this, and she's got another job elsewhere, can't talk to us anymore, I'm gone. And then they said, ring up Department of Planning and stuff like that. So I did. I rang them up and asked them about this, and the guy I had spoken to, his name was Justin, started by telling me he knew nothing about this. I thought, oh, this is typical. Then I told him what had happened, that 3,000 applications, of which most were lost. And he told me repeatedly, he didn't believe it. He told me, we've got people that can find anything in a computer, no matter where it is. We've got some of the best people in Australia working for us. We can find that. And guess what? He was right, Evan. They did find it, didn't they? So there's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. It all sounds very unusual. It sounds wrong. It sounds like people are manipulating other people. And now finally the submissions are in. Now, which ones of those submissions will actually be acted upon, accepted, and maybe people called in to testify on that behalf? Well, that's another story, isn't it? I've got a pretty good idea that's going to work out. So what we've got in our article and what we're going to talk about on the upcoming Kariong calling update is the truth, the real truth, and what really is happening at that site and why it is so important and why this is something that should not continue, because I can tell you now, there is more to come. This is the beginning of a tsunami of development that's going to take place. And who's going to be the number one developer in New South Wales? The Darkinong Lands Council. If this gets up, they will be the biggest land developers in the Central Coast. Is that what a lands council was put together to do? To make money and to sell sacred sites for people to put houses on and whatever else they want to put on? Is
golf
that
courses?
Oh, the golf course. What's the story with that one, Evan?
I think that was in Lake's entrance. They got sold to Medina, I think, and they built a country club and a golf course over it. And
but isn't there a burial site there?
Yeah, there's a burial site. There's an elder buried there.
And they've acknowledged it's an elder's burial site, but it's now a golf course. Yeah, well, this is just the short edge of the wedge. There's a lot more coming, ladies and gentlemen, and it ain't good. So join us on our online Kariong calling presentation. If you can't watch it on the day, you've got a week. And if it's too much to one in one shot, break it up. Watch a bit of it in one stage and watch some more later on. What it will tell you is here we will be we will be talking to elders. We'll be talking to elders and quoting from elders, and we'll be telling you what they've got to say, not what the government's got to say. The government, when they make a decision about something, when there's money involved, and can I remind people, and I'll close with this, the government sent out a letter to every Lands Council in New South Wales in 2019 and told them to develop whatever they wish to develop, and they will do everything in their power to expedite that development and make sure it gets up. Now, I can tell you the plan is this. Gosford will become the outer suburb of Sydney for the people who can't afford to live there anymore. They need houses for them, don't they, Evan? And that's what this is about. It's got nothing to do with the sacredness of the land. It's got nothing to do with what Arnie Bev has said about what Arnie Colleen has said or what Arnie Tracy said. That doesn't count for anything. And the best part of this is now, we went up there recently and guess what's now hidden in the bush? Cameras. So when you're there, they're spying on you. They're watching you. Now, this is actually National Parks and Wildlife land. Since when were you spied upon when you went in there? That's what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. Pass this on to others if you can, please. And please join us. All we're going to do is something quite unusual today. We're going to get 7 people there. I just counted the group. And we're all going to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And then we'll read out to you what the other side has said. In fact, you can read it on the article now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I promised Evan is not feeling 100%. We keep this down to 10 minutes, and we succeeded, didn't we, Evan?
No, it's 12.
Oh, well, that's close enough for me. That's a big win.
Okay, we'll see you all on our Sunday, or if you're over in the Americas, I think that's your Saturday.
But a decent time. And if you're living in London,
you'll have to watch
it at
another time.
Watch it at another time. That's one of the reasons we're keeping this a bit open. Okay, until then, thank you for joining us. And those that join later, please come along. It's something important. And believe me, if this gets up, it's going to be hell for leather everywhere. There's going to be developments taking place everywhere. This is the actual test case. Right. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either. Wow.
Someone just said they've got cameras everywhere, including in the Northern Territory. What are they looking for? If it's National Parks and Wildlife land, why do they need to film people when they're coming in and out? Weird. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you all very soon. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.